right, welcome back to episode 33 of the Hops and Bops podcast. I'm producer Tom.
It's Joe.
It's Mike.
And you know us, we're back with another album of beer. Of course, we have, we got American Idiot by Green Day as the album. And the beer of choice is Starman by Alvarium Beer Company.
Yes.
New England double IPA.
Yes.
Yes.
I've still never been.
You haven't been?
No.
It's good.
I've heard.
Good spot.
Just never been.
Good little place.
Yeah. New Britain.
Hard hitting.
Hard hitting.
Oh, it's hitting.
All right. Mike, this is your beer, right?
This
Wanna
is.
do the honors?
Sure.
Crack it open.
So I did my local travel to the package store and said, "What do you got for me?" Because I had no idea what I wanted.
What, do you know?
And,
you don't know this guy's name? We should give him a character.
We're like, we have to give him a name, but we're like, it's that we both are past the point of like asking.
Oh, that's so awkward.
I have the same thing.
I would be the one to finally say like, "Hey, by the way, I'm Mike." You know, we've never really officially like introduced.
Mm-hmm.
He was loving on the album. Like, I wish we could. I got to talk to him because we got to get him here. Like, he every time I've mentioned an album, he's known like in depth about that album.
Oh, good.
Like the dude knows, and he's like all over, like all the way from. I remember when I went to get the Snoop Dogg wine for the Snoop Dogg album, he was like talking to me in depth about Doggy Style, and then like American Idiot was going off about Jesus of Suburbia and like all these. I was like, this guy knows what he's talking about. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
He was trying to hook up with a beer that either had like American or Idiot in the name to kind of pair better, but that would have made me have to travel somewhere else, and that wasn't happening.
Yeah, we don't do that.
No. But I did do Alvarium. I've never been there, but I know they're local, and we like to support our local guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's cracked.
Let's do it.
See? Ooh, it's cloudy.
Nice.
With a chance of
I look.
meatballs?
That's thick.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
oh, wow.
Thank you.
It's like a creamsicle.
Yeah, really. It's
Yeah, so they're a
Go
good
ahead.
spot. New Britain. Them and
It does.
5 churches are in New Britain.
never been there either.
And those are 2 good spots. Definitely check them out.
It looks like pineapple juice.
Yeah,
or
it does.
Some sort of
Yeah, like a
breakfast.
mango
Yeah.
something.
Cheers. Cheers.
Nice citrus smell.
Oh, it's good.
Ooh,
Doesn't
wow.
taste double.
No, it
Good,
doesn't.
8%.
And you know what's great? We are recording a little later today. No toothpaste taste in my mouth.
No toothpaste.
So,
You guys.
when the fuck did we...
Well, you definitely got both your shots.
yeah, I'm fully vaccinated. What a year.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm only one so far.
How about everyone else? Mike, you're one shot in.
One shot in, and
I'm one.
it did
You're
not
one
go
in?
well.
Yes.
My one did not go
Mine
well.
didn't go well either.
You
No?
flush yet?
Yep.
Yeah, me too. For like 2 days.
I had to work a double, and then I came back home and
I
I
had
was
to
in
move
bed
furniture.
shivering.
I had to
Wow.
move furniture.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
I was fine after both. I mean, a little bit of symptoms, but...
Yep. Can't wait for round 2.
Oh,
What'd you get, Tom?
I have Moderna.
Moderna.
Yeah.
Pfizer.
Pfizer gang.
Hey! That was a clean slap.
It was.
So, we are talking about an American IPA called Starman from Alvarium.
Double IPA, right?
Yes, it
double
is.
IPA. This website's got to be wrong because it's 7.7. This is 8 unless we just round up. But yeah, it's got, which we've done before, Galaxy and Citra hops we've talked about.
Yeah.
Gives that nice citrusy flavor.
Oh, yeah.
It's got that nice cloudy, like we said, kind of like a pineapple mango juice look to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a great citrus smell.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like a double to me.
It doesn't. It feels
No.
like just your standard kind of like citrus IPA.
Yeah.
New England IPA, but it's got a nice flavor at the front. Doesn't really hang around too much.
I like the messaging on the side of the can.
I haven't read it, so go for it.
Well, there's like a quote from Stan of the Cosmos kind of explaining why it says Starman. And
Okay.
because it's like the Galaxy hops kind of brings it in with
Yeah,
the Cosmos
makes
kind of
sense.
thing.
Yeah.
But I like in the smaller text underneath it says, "Thank you for picking up this can. Clearly you have a good taste and or an attraction to shiny objects. By holding this can, you have inadvertently formed a bond with it and have imprinted a piece of your soul inside. Putting the can down now may cause emotional damage to the contents, causing it to act out against future drinkers. Please keep your new friend cold and consume fresh for maximum happiness. Dispose of empty husk and recycling bin. No tears. It had a rich, fulfilling life with you, and nobody can take that away. I don't like how emotional this is getting.
Drink fresh, drink dank. Brian,
Oh, another dank?
dank.
Got another
Some
dank.
dank IPA action.
Right.
Some dank.
That's good shit. I like that. The can is really cool. Like the
It
label's
is.
like shiny, holographic.
Well, like I said, this would have been perfect if we were doing like a
David Bowie.
David Bowie album.
Yeah, well, not today.
That's okay.
Also,
That's
like the artistry through industry
Yeah.
tag. I'm assuming that's from the like the artist who designed the can, because it does have a really cool layout.
Yeah.
It kind of like sparkles a little bit when it's in under some sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And you can definitely taste the hops. The
Oh.
hops. Yeah, you can definitely taste the hops in it too. I like it.
Yeah, this
was
is
awesome.
good. I like it a lot. Very good.
No, I definitely.
I mean, you can't go wrong with these IPAs, double IPAs. I mean, every brewery's got them.
Yeah.
We've covered a ton of them.
Yep.
And they're just all solid. This is another one.
It's great because I have a Thor glass and it just matches his hair so beautifully.
Oh, yeah. Blends right in. You can't even tell the difference. Well, you won't even know the difference.
There's also something like fruity
Laid
in there.
off, not
Is
fired. Yeah, no, there's
that the
definitely
Citra hops?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Citra.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely
For
gives
sure.
off that almost like zesty kind of feel, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's cool.
By the way, I did want to mention it was from City Steam. I think the guy I talked to there, Tyler, when he and I were shouting back and forth when he gave me like a little sound clip, I told him, I said, we're not beer experts. We're just not. But we like to taste a lot of different beers. And he's like, yeah, you guys aren't beer snobs at all. You're more like beer explorers. I was like, yes.
Ooh, I like that.
That's,
Right.
yeah.
So, like, for our listeners out there, all 5 of you, we don't want to ever come off like we're beer experts. If we say something wrong, oh well. But
We move on.
we're exploring different beers. I thought that
Yeah.
was pretty good. Yeah.
No, just call me Dora.
Vamonos.
Swiper, no swiping.
Oh man. Do you see the IPA? Where?
Nice. We're covering it all right now.
We are.
COVID shots and Dora the Explorer. And love it. Very good.
An American fucking idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's just jump right into American Idiot, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
It was Joe, was your pick?
This is my pick. Yes, American Idiot.
Why did you pick it?
Well, I just thought I'm a big fan of the album. The album concept. I've talked about it a lot. I've talked about it with Foo Fighters' Wasting Light, a couple other albums I can't remember at this time, but this falls right into that. I'm not a big Green Day fan at all. I like them. I respect their hits, but I don't go rushing to listen to their discography. But this album's different. It's a concept album. It's their 7th album. Came out in 2004.
Yep.
13 tracks. And it was kind of like a rock opera. And I'm always a big fan when bands take risks and want to try something new on an album, and you can hear it pay off. And when they're focused on that album concept from track to track to track, you can hear it. And I hear it clearly in this. And it was one of my favorite albums listening to music in high school. I remember when this came out my sophomore year.
Yep.
And, my buddies, we were all into it too. And, but again, not a huge Green Day fan, but when this came out, because of the themes, and, it was a couple years after 9/11, and
Yep.
Green Day was actually on the downslope, I think, in their career at this time. The album before this, I think it was Warning, was kind of a dud. I don't know, but just from my research, just kind of a dud. It seems like they were just putting out the same album over and over and over again.
It was Shenanigans, 2002, but Warning was 2000.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they did say that following the disappointing sales of their album Warning.
Right.
So it didn't do well.
Yeah. So
And their next album was, or they had planned to be their next album was Cigarettes and Valentine.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about that a little
yeah.
bit. It's pretty cool. But yeah, they took a risk. They needed to refresh their career a little bit, and it shows. And I think they show off a lot of cool things on this album that they never did before.
I've never been a Green Day fan. Like even in like middle school when Green Day was like everyone loves Green Day, and I was like,
Yeah,
I never got it. It just wasn't for me. And I gotta say though, listening to this album for the first time through, I didn't realize how many songs that I knew from Green Day were actually part of this album.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't realize. I knew the songs, but I didn't realize they were on this album.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So many of them. I mean, a lot of hits on this album.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much in the same boat. You know, I think I only heard about 3 or 4 of the kind of essential Green Day songs. You know, obviously you have the title track, Holiday, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, and like Wake Me Up.
Yeah.
Those are the singles.
Yeah. So, but I've only heard those 3. But when I dove deeper into it, I found a lot more substance out of it, which I love in an album when you only hear like the hits, but the rest of the album is really solid too.
Oh yeah,
that's always a positive.
It's in my opinion, it's really solid from front to back.
The flow is unreal.
The flow, the transitions.
In my opinion, that's the best part.
Yeah.
It's just the transition from song to song and the way that, you know, when one song's chord hangs over and the next song starts and they're the same key. And it just makes for such a smooth album.
Yeah. And then there's 2 epics on it, 2 like really long songs with multiple parts. We'll get to them, but Jesus of Suburbia and the other one's Homecoming. Just the transitions within those songs are just awesome. And that's something that Green Day never really showed off until this album. So, as a music fan, as a rock fan, just, you know, it was just a good album. And it spoke to me at that time. And ever since then, you know, I pop it on from time to time. And it's one of the albums I put on my list to bring to the pod. So here we are. Yeah.
Nice.
So Mike mentioned earlier about this Cigarettes and Valentines. This is a pretty cool story. So they were getting ready to record a new album. They were going to call it Cigarettes and Valentines, and it sounds like it was just going to be, you know, another like traditional Green Day punk rock album and everything. But what ended up happening was the masters that they had already recorded were stolen.
Really?
Yes.
Oh wow.
So they ultimately did find them, but they just because time has passed and they felt that, I don't know, maybe it was a sign, like, instead of trying to re-record it or use what they had, they're like, let's just start from scratch. And
so, like, virtually stolen?
Actually stolen, yes. Like,
they went in
out of their possession.
Because, was this recorded on physical? Like, did they do it on tape, or did they?
That's
do
what I'm
it,
saying.
Like,
like, so was it like physically
Pro Tools?
stolen, or was it like virtually stolen?
The guy come in
Gotcha.
with like a USB stick.
I think it might have been on tape, and then they converted it to Pro Tools. I'm not exactly sure, but
Yeah, because 2004 was like right around that time where digital was starting to come in.
Right.
So that might have happened.
right.
But
I'm
yeah, I
wondering
don't
if
know.
it was just it's just interesting.
But that is how the story goes, and
It's pretty cool.
they started it from scratch, and they kind of approached recording this album and writing it in a different way. It was always like Billy Joel Armstrong, kind of taking the lead, but the other guys, Mike Dirnt and Trey Cool, kind of had more of an Dirnt.
I still can't believe there's a man out there named Trey Cool.
I know, right? Yeah.
That's his actual name.
Trey. Well, I don't know.
Well, I'm
I think it's a
assuming,
stage name.
yeah, but still.
Yeah, but they had more input on this album, and they started writing this album. All of them wrote like 30-second like mini songs, and then those mini songs they decided, hey, let's put them together. Let's have like a common theme. And the first time they did that ended up becoming the song "Homecoming."
Oh, okay.
So
I was gonna say that has a lot of parts on it.
Yeah. So then they did that again for Jesus of Suburbia, and everything like that. And then when it came to recording, they didn't record another song until they finished the previous song. So they recorded it in succession by track list, which was cool. So
That's actually
the
really
first song they
interesting.
recorded for the album was American Idiot. They didn't move on to Jesus of Suburbia until American Idiot was completely finished.
Like even like mix and master too?
Everything, yeah.
Really?
Well, maybe not mix and mastering, but like this is the take we're using.
Yeah.
Time to move on.
That's
And
pretty
it's
cool.
it's just stuff like that. Like I clearly hear that in the album because every song is just it just sounds perfect.
Yeah.
You know, how they intended it to be, instead of jumping all over the place and reconvening after months off. Like,
Yeah.
you hear the differences.
Yeah, or if you like write the song in California and then you record it in Texas and do all this stuff.
Exactly.
You know.
They did do a little moving around, but I think they only did 2 studios for this album.
Yeah, but I mean that's
But still
standard. You know?
I mean, in Wikipedia says they recorded it in Oakland.
Okay,
In Oakland.
I don't know if it just says one studio. But
Oh, okay.
All right.
I could be wrong then. I don't know. But yeah. So, and you know, obviously it does have a lot of political undertones and the themes and everything.
Yeah, wasn't there like a thing with like rocking against Bush or something?
Yeah, I mean they were like anti-Bush fans and things like that. But
Yeah.
as I mentioned in the last episode when we talked about System of a Down and toxicity, I don't go to music for that. I go to music as an escape.
Yeah.
So it's not the political undertones and the themes that drew me to the album. It was the composition, the production, the musicianship. But all the while, I mean, I give them credit. They were able to tell a story pretty nicely through characters.
Definitely.
With an awesome sounding album.
Especially with the title track too.
Yeah.
If you want to get into it. I mean,
Yeah.
the first one, American Idiot, you know, completely lays out exactly what everyone was feeling around, you know, right after 9/11, like 3 years after that.
Yeah.
You know.
And musically, it's just a classic punk rock song. I mean, it has it's formulaic, but for all the right reasons. It's a contagious guitar riff. You know, the drum fill after the chorus, which is my favorite. I love that. Yeah, I love that. It's so fun to play.
I see that.
Yeah, but you know, fast tempo keeps me hooked from beginning to end. It's a great song, and it really kicks the album off well. Yeah,
I think it's a perfect like staple of the times, especially because so many people are just fed up by everything.
Yeah,
and then he just kind of like called everyone an idiot, and then it's like, oh yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and in my eyes, though, it kind of it's like a standalone track. I don't know if it intends to be part of the story that the album's about the characters, you know, Saint Jimmy and Jesus Suburbia. It opens the album, but I feel like in my eyes, the story starts with the next track.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I think it's just kind of like a setting
like
kind of
thing.
Setting
the
yeah,
tone.
exactly. Yeah. It's like the prologue or whatever.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's at the end. Whatever. Literary devices.
There it is again. But yeah, I mean, we'll go right into the next track, Jesus of Suburbia.
Yeah.
This is one of 2 epics on the album. It's like 9 minutes long. Has 5 different mini parts
songs
in it. Yeah, mini songs in it.
Is it 5?
It's
I
5.
I haven't actually sat down and counted them.
Yeah.
But
It is 5.
The last one is Ring of Fire.
Yeah, Mike texted me that, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
It is.
He's
The last,
right.
if you listen to the last like 2 minutes, it's da da na 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 da da na na na.
Oh yeah,
It's a fucking Ring of Fire ripoff.
Yeah, I know. I can't unhear it now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Green Day's notorious for stealing a lot of their material from other people too, so I can understand that.
Yeah, who isn't? You know?
You get to a point. I mean, something's got to sound similar.
Yeah,
Eventually.
yeah.
There's only so many notes and chords.
Yeah, right.
When
Exactly.
you're putting out Uno Dos Tre, you know, the triple album. You're bound to have some duds on it, but
I mentioned that too. I have something to say about that.
But no, it was this was a good song. It just, yeah, you know me with things that are long. If they lose my attention after a while, the whole album. It was not a long album, but it was an hour.
yeah,
And I felt like after a while, and for me personally, the entire album, I just kind of like, I couldn't stay super focused. Like I started to kind of like just listen and not really like pay attention, if that makes sense.
yeah.
You know, so some of the songs I'm like listening to again at the end, and I'm like not able to make a connection between the name and the song because to me it was just another song. Like they just kind of flowed on. So that with this one, I kind of like if it was 2 songs, I think I would have liked it better than like one long epic song. I just feel like it kind of lost steam for me. But it wasn't a bad song.
Yeah. For me, it kept my interest intact because I think all 5 parts were kind of distinct. You know, it wasn't like
And maybe,
reach down.
And maybe that's what was
Pick the ground up.
Yeah.
from Temple of the Dog.
Oh Christ!
Right, that was 11 minutes of the same riff. At least this had 5 different parts.
Yeah, I think what got me was almost that. It was like it changed so much. I'm like, but just the concept that it changed so much, but technically it's one song.
Yeah,
was like hard for me to grasp and hang on to. But I get it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't shy away from long songs.
No.
But I love this band called Dream Theater. I talk about them a lot. I mean, they have 20-minute songs.
Oof, I don't know if I can do it.
I want to do one of their albums, but I'm curious to I am curious to see what you would think. But anyway, I don't know. I love this song.
Yeah, I love this song too.
Yeah.
I kind of have the opposite of Mike, where
me too.
It's long,
Fuck
yes. It's long, but they supplement the length by having all these different parts in it to where you don't get bored of it. You know,
exactly.
They keep changing it up so that it stays fresh, at least for me. And each different part plays into the other pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, even the part where they switch into 3/4, it's a little bit jarring, but it goes right back into the 4/4 right after that.
Right, exactly.
And I like the lyricism and the themes. Obviously, they're pretty good. And I don't know, it felt really powerful for me.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
especially for a track that I hadn't heard before. I know that it was.
You haven't heard this before?
No,
Really?
I knew about it just because the lore and the kind of feeling that they have. But I've never actually sat down and listened all the way through. But I love it.
Yeah, cool.
Because tracks like The American Idiot and like Wake Me Up, they can be a little overplayed. Because obviously
sure.
I've heard them all before.
Yeah,
fantastic tracks. But for something that I've never heard of before, and it's so long and switches up all the time, I really love this track.
Yeah, I mean, I feel a lot of the same as you, Tom. This is something that Green Day has never done before. A song like this with the multiple parts. It had piano. It starts to get into like some other percussion instruments, especially later in the album too. It was just something new from them. At that time I was used to, When I Come Around, Basket Case. What are they? I don't know. What are the other ones?
Like that one song they did.
But I think that kind of leads to my point. Like, you hear it, but you may not,
Exactly.
know it. So this was fresh. It was in depth.
Welcome to Paradise.
Welcome to Paradise.
That's what I was thinking of.
I just said that.
Oh, I didn't hear you, man.
Sorry, I was not listening.
I know. Obviously.
I'm disagreeing with you, so I'm choosing not to listen to you.
100%.
Also, what a name for an album, Dookie.
Dookie, right?
Imagine 94, you name an album after shit, and it's a really good album.
Yeah, and it's not shit. It is.
Exactly.
But anyway. Yeah.
Great track.
That last part of Jesus Suburbia, when it ends with just piano and the vocals, and then the band comes back in, and that big finish, I just love it. It's a very well-made song.
Also, I really like around the 6-minute mark where they bring in those little chimes.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just such an interesting mix-up you don't expect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, Mike, you had mentioned it was like an hour long for you. What version of the album did you listen to? Like, what was the last song that you listened to? Because the way Spotify does it, I do not like how Spotify.
Yeah, they have a deluxe,
and it's the only version of the album on Spotify.
No, there is a regular version.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because the only one I found.
Yeah.
What's her name's the
last song,
the official ending.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a regular one.
Well,
or at least on the desktop version they do.
Yeah, on my phone app, which I do, I'm on it every day, multiple times a day. They only have the deluxe version.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And another thing I don't like that they do is they combined the next 8 songs together.
Yeah.
Which
that's what
I
mine
hate.
does.
I don't like.
Well, yeah.
If I want to listen to Boulevard of Broken Dreams, I can't just cue it up. I have to listen to Holiday first, and then Boulevard is right halfway
Same
through.
with me. That's a
okay. Yes, I don't know, but the CD I had the CD when I was growing up. It was just track by track, so that's what I'm used to. What's that?
I said, okay, boomer.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, mine's all doubled up.
I have some more Starman.
Oh, it's empty.
There's one.
I do
there.
want.
Yeah.
Open it up.
All right.
I would say it makes more sense to have Holiday and Boulevard of Broken Dreams together.
Yeah.
Because
That flow.
yeah, they flow super
really
well. You know,
Right.
they have that one kind of open chord and then it goes so it makes sense.
Although Give Me Novocaine and She's a Rebel
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I was
flow
just
right
gonna say.
into it too. But
I was gonna say it makes less sense as you go. Like Are We the Waiting and St. Jimmy make better sense together.
right.
But like Extraordinary Girl, Letterbomb don't really. It's like
No. And I have something.
But
I
yeah,
gotta say
we'll
about
get
that.
to that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is where this is the Slash album of the part of the album for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they feature Slash on this album. Did you know that?
Oh, that's news to me.
Yeah, just on these 4 tracks.
The Slash.
Yes, yeah, not.
But
That was my joke. Thank you.
I guess next, is Holiday. So
I love Holiday.
another single off the album.
I know I've mentioned this on the show before, but tracks that are featured on video game soundtracks, I don't know why, but they just ingrain into my skull so much harder than other tracks. Because this was on Tony Hawk, some Tony Hawk
Pro
game that I
Skater
played.
75.
Sure, yeah. Here he's got the walker.
Until you meet Tony Hawk in public and don't know who he is.
Yeah. You look like Tony Hawk. Oh, really? That was a tweet by Tony Hawk. But, yeah, this song was on one of those. Yeah, I think it was Tony Hawk Underground.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, I absolutely love this track. Just really chugging guitars to really get you going. I don't know any of the lyrics except for "This is the dawning of the rest of our lives."
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's another thing I wanted to mention. Billy Joel Armstrong, his voice is awful, but in the sense of this album, it's really good.
Yeah,
It works. Yeah.
He doesn't make any ooh sounds with his mouth. He always goes "I," if that makes sense.
Oh,
I beg to demand if I was wrong there, right.
I
always
think
sound
that's the
exaggerating, but-
British influence, that pop or
This is
that
the
punk always had.
dawning of the rest
That
of
is
our
true.
life. Like it's in other settings, it would not work at all.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's a little annoying, but it fits the album super well
Oh, yeah,
because
for sure.
you know that kind of sound, a little bit punkier. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it rounds out.
Yeah. I'm actually not a huge fan of this song. I
Really?
find it kind of
Really?
annoying. I don't know. As soon as it became a single too, it was, I don't know. I just liked other parts of the album more, and this one kind of got tired for me. It's a decent song. You know, I don't hate it, but it's just not my favorite.
So now when it comes to like England and stuff, like British in general, holidays like vacation, right?
Yes.
So that's all that is, which I just thought is funny.
Yeah.
Like,
Are
it
they?
doesn't-
They're not from England, are they?
No,
They're
they're like California.
yeah, but it has like that. I'm assuming that's where they're going with
Yeah,
it. And
because
that's
they're
kind of
on
like
holiday.
on holiday, which
Yeah.
would be vacation.
Yeah.
But it's weird because you're right. He does have that like British kind of,
Holiday.
which I don't know why, but
Yeah. Well, because I mean, you think of like the Clash and the
Yeah,
the
it is
British,
very Clash
British punk
inspired.
invasion, and
yeah,
I think it just a lot of
never
lot
liked
of
that.
American, yeah, no,
I always hated the Clash. I always
yeah,
thought they were
it's
so.
not my cup of tea, but a lot of American, cup of tea.
That was clever. Look at you.
That was not intentional. Hey,
Sure.
I bet you like tea. Come on, somebody know office.
what's next?
Boulevard Broken Dreams.
Yeah, I mean another one. It's a good song. Again, it's
Yeah.
not my favorite.
I'd say I liked Holiday more than Boulevard Broken
Yes,
Dreams.
agreed.
But I mean, they both have their. I understand
Honestly,
why
what
they're that
made
big.
this song for me was the flow from one to the other.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't for that like really good flow that they had,
Mm-hmm.
the guitar solo sucks. It's kind of just like this ballady. I don't know. I'm not really.
They're
It's-
single worthy. These two.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're fun to sing when you don't really care about lyrics. Because you can just kind of go along what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like
Kinda
most people
hum
know
along.
what he's saying.
Yeah, right. Yep.
But I digress.
Yeah.
All right, so then we move on.
Yeah.
Are We
Next
the
up
Waiting?
we have "Are We the Waiting." I thought this song it's necessary for the storyline. I don't think it's a really standout song itself.
Yeah.
It has that same constant drum fill throughout. Doom, da, doom, da, doom, da, 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 doom, and it's that the whole song. There's no groove. I think it's purely just for the story.
Yep. It refers back to Jesus of Suburbia a little bit in the lyrics.
Yep. I don't know, anything, Mike?
It does say Stargazer in it.
Does it really?
Which connects to Starman. So
there we go. We planned it.
I did this on purpose.
Well done.
And yeah.
And that's it for the day. Yeah. All right.
So,
Peace.
oh wait, I am home.
Just fill out the time card and punch in.
Clock in. Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's what it is.
yeah. But then St. Jimmy after that.
Hold on, let me just scroll
Just got to
through.
scrub through. Yeah. I like this a lot better.
Yeah.
I thought this was a good song.
Yeah, very punk.
Yeah, fast paced, kicks ass, relentless drums. Trey Cool, the drummer, he's awesome. He's a great drummer. I know it's weird to say, but that's his name.
I know.
I thought the ending was cool too. Yeah, I like this song. Good song.
Yeah, they're only a 3-piece, right?
3-piece. Yeah.
Yes. They fill out a lot of space for a 3-piece.
That's one thing I will give them credit for.
Yeah.
Is they make a very full sound for 3 guys.
Yeah. Although I mean, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
They have like dual guitar tracks.
Yeah, studio guitarists or whatever.
I think for this album they brought on a second guitarist.
Wouldn't be
Makes
surprised.
sense.
And then after this album, I think he became part of the band officially.
Oh, nice.
I'm not sure how that stands now, but yeah, it's always been the 3 of them. And then there's additional instruments too, like the piano and other effects and other percussion instruments that fill out the sound. So that's probably what we're hearing. But yeah, I thought St. Jimmy was a good song.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Then next we have Give Me Novocaine.
Novocaine.
It's a little song, simple drum beat, acoustic guitar. I thought it shows the band's versatility, matching the highs and lows of the story. Again, something we haven't really seen from them.
I'm noticing a pattern with these Slash songs where the intro track is much slower and chill, and then they pick it up for the second one.
Except for
Holiday
Holiday.
Boulevard.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I'm wondering if they did that on purpose to where each one, they kind of wanted a bit more of like a Jesus of Suburbia feel where they have different parts to a song.
Right.
Makes sense.
Because that's probably what they were going for, where they have different feelings on each track.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't really make sense in terms of singles and other things like that.
The Slash songs are the ones that flow into one another.
Yeah.
Because if you notice, like, after She's a Rebel going into Extraordinary Girl, there's a distinct, you could tell they're different songs. But in streaming, you can set it to gapless playback anyway, and you wouldn't hear like a cutoff, like if it flowed in. So I don't know why they put them together.
Yeah, crossfade. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they put them in one track, but yeah, I mean, Give Me No Cane, chill again.
Yeah,
comes in heavy for the chorus. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Nothing that really draws you into the rest of the album.
Yeah.
But while it's on, and I feel like for the same thing for a lot of the songs, like while they're on, like they're pretty listenable. Like I enjoyed them while they're on, but it's nothing that stand out.
Agreed.
It's not gonna wow you.
It adds to the flow of the album. I like the peaks and valleys of the album. The
Yes,
highs and
yeah.
lows.
They do a good job of keeping your interest with songs back and forth that aren't super repetitive. Yeah, a lot of the energy transfer is pretty good for this album.
I think the drums definitely like push this song, especially at the beginning. And then when that heavy guitar comes in, it's not bad. When they go a little softer, it's kind of
Right.
But like it's very staccato too. It's very punchy, which I think they do well with.
Oh, definitely, for sure. Yeah.
When She's a Rebel kicks in, though, it's a pretty basic song in terms of like songwriting. Although I do like the chorus. But when it kicks in, it is pretty good.
Yeah. I love it. Just goes right into it.
Yep.
She's a rebel. Right in.
It.
And it's at this point where, Mike said at the beginning, where I became just really impressed with all the transitions that they've had. Again, something that they haven't shown yet in their career. Next up, we have Extraordinary Girl.
Extraordinary.
It kind of begins with like a little tribal kind of beat.
This one sounded very like European almost.
Yeah. It's slower. You could tell it's kind of like a lovey song.
Kind of losing steam a little bit at this point.
Yeah, this is my least favorite of the Slash quadrift, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this one. If I had to pick one I didn't like, be this one, Extraordinary Girl. It's a little too teeny bop for me, this one.
It's more unique than a lot of their other tracks, but yeah, not my favorite.
I feel like it takes too long to come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. At least like 20 seconds of
right.
Not a lot.
Kind of nothing.
Yeah.
But then it goes into this song Letter Bomb, which I fucking love. And that's my huge gripe about the Slashes is I love this song.
Yeah.
Like I want to put this on my playlist. But if I put Letter Bomb on the playlist, it's gotta come with Extraordinary Girl. And I don't like Extraordinary Girl. I love Letter Bomb. I thought it was a great song. I love the intro, the spoken word, the build up, the guitar riff with the drum fill kind of kicking in, and then they come in all together with the main riff. It almost has like a early Foo Fighters feel for me, like
I can see that
color and the shape kind of vibe. But yeah, this song kind of sticks with their roots, but it just shows where they're at right now. I love Letter Bomb. It's a great song. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this one too.
Mm-hmm.
Picks the energy right back up.
Yep.
I really like the percussion in this one too.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely keeps the track moving.
Yeah, good pace. This beer's great.
Such a great beer.
Oh yeah, no, I'm in love with this beer.
Awesome. So at this point, we're done with the Slashes.
Slash has left the building.
Yep. Next song is "Wake Me Up When September Ends."
Yeah, classic.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is a classic. It's an iconic ballad for a generation of music fans. I think for this generation, I think
Jesus Christ.
when you look back on the 2000s,
Yeah.
I think you're going to look at this song and it's going to stand the test of time. It's just I can't think of any other word than iconic.
That's definitely a fair critique.
Yeah.
I think when I was very young, I actually posted a Facebook post that said, "Oh, I hope someone wakes up Green Day on October 1st," because that was very funny.
That's love it.
I was a very funny 13-year-old.
Do you get it in your
Thank
memories
God
every year?
you're
Yeah.
16 now.
Yeah, my time hop or whatever it
On
is.
this day, yeah.
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 It's not my favorite, but I
No.
think, I can distinguish between songs I like and songs I recognize are huge, and I think this
agree.
is one of those. Yeah, it's a good song. I
It's not
enjoy
a bad
it.
song.
Right.
It's just not a great song. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of after a while it gets a little annoying to me. Like it's the same feel the whole time through.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it's like kind of a fun song to sing. It's like easy to harmonize to. Like there's like that part of it's good. I mean, I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like half of this album is doom doom ba doom doom ba. Like I feel like he does that maybe halfway. I don't know.
Well, they play what's needed for the song.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't an album where they're showing off their chops. It was story focused, album focused.
Yeah.
They played what they needed to. So
I did like how this song builds, though, because you start with just him and an acoustic.
yeah,
Then you incorporate drums.
right,
And then you bring all of the guitar, bass, and everything.
Yeah.
and full drum
And
set.
then, they still have a little bit of acoustic in there, and then they build on top of that.
Yeah.
So it was a good flow.
They got a nice bell kit in there.
I was going to say the bell kit.
Yeah.
And it's just those little extra X factors
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I enjoyed.
It's a pretty lame solo, though.
They're not. Yeah, you can listen to all their songs. They're not. That's one thing they're not meant.
No.
They're not like known
But-
for.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
But you can see why it's popular, you know?
Yeah.
I can see
Yeah.
why so many people can recognize this and claim it as their favorite Green Day song, but it's not mine.
No. But it fits in nicely where it is on the album, I think.
Yeah, of course.
And then next up is a track called Homecoming. It's the other epic. It's 9 minutes. Has 5 distinct parts too.
They're all named, by the way.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I saw that on that picture you sent.
In the picture that I sent, Mike. In
Oh,
our
those
group
are-
chat.
I didn't look at it.
Yeah.
I told you that.
Yeah.
Homecoming has the opposite feel of Jesus of Suburbia for me. Like, I understand there's a lot of parts, and that is important to keeping it going, but too long. The parts near the end, I don't know, felt a little kind of tongue-in-cheek almost.
Yeah. I agree with you. This is my least, or this is, out of the two epics,
Yeah.
I like Jesus of Suburbia way more.
Oh, definitely.
I think the parts are more impressive. The transitions are more impressive. This one feels like it's 5 mini songs smushed together. Like
it also just doesn't have the same like almost stamina.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah, it almost felt like one of those old timey like Rush songs to me. You know, when they start to get really long and have different parts to it. Yeah.
I will say I think it's part 4, Rock and Roll Girlfriend. It's sung by Trey Cool.
It is,
and
the one before that sung by the bassist.
I think.
Or at least
are you looking on Wiki? I
is.
think that's written. I think it's written by him.
Okay.
Yep. But the Trey Cool part 4 is actually sung by him.
Interesting.
I love that part. And it begins with the American Idiot drum fill.
Yeah.
And then it gets into this like fast-paced just punk rock. It's a good part. Yeah, like fast forward a little bit. Cue it up. It's right after the military drum.
That's where I'm at now.
Yeah, it's right after that.
Oh yeah, whenever I listen to that part, I only hear that one note they play on the piano. You ever when you were
that?
It's like
that's
all I can
rock,
hear.
yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
That's all that just gets stuck with me.
But
one thing I did want
in the background.
Yeah, one thing I did want to mention was the transition between Extraordinary Girl and Letterbomb, where that kid's like singing "Nobody Likes You." I did not like that.
That appears again.
Yeah, he sings that same kind of melody in like the second part of Homecoming.
And then it ends
is there
the song
sax
too.
in there?
Yeah,
a little bit
in the Rock and Roll Girlfriend part. Yeah, I love this part.
It does sound like 50s, kind of like little Jerry Lee Lewis thing going on there.
But if you hear that one note, it's the exact same note over and over again.
Yeah.
Well, even the guitars.
But again, if I want to hear that one part, I gotta fast forward through 5 minutes.
It's a lot of work.
This one makes more sense than a Slash song, though.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
These are mini songs.
Yeah.
They're not even full songs. Yeah.
But I get it.
Yeah. But that spoken word part you were talking about, Tom, it also ends this whole track.
Yeah.
It must be like a meaningful thing to the story. I don't listen to lyrics.
Yeah. Not a huge fan of it, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just very strange.
Yeah, I hear you. And so then after this epic, it all comes to an end with What's Her Name. What's Her Name it's one of the characters in the story. So my interpretation of the story was there's this character, Jesus of Suburbia. It's like a teenager trying to find his way through life after all these events like 9/11 and the Iraq War. And then there's 2 other characters. There's Saint Jimmy and What's Her Name. Saint Jimmy is kind of like a rebellious kind of let's do things our way. What's Her Name is kind of like do what's right, like stick with like the ethical thing. And Jesus of Suburbia is kind of finding his way through that. But then they don't really wrap the album up too well from what I've read. They kind of leave the ending up to open to interpretation, like how the story ends.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But this song, I think he chooses like the What's Her Name way of life, but then he even forgets what this girl's name is, which is why he refers to her as What's Her Name. I don't know. I don't know. If anyone out there knows the true story,
Billy, if you're out there, let us know.
Help us out. But that's kind of my interpretation of what's going on.
Yeah, this song was just for me.
Yeah,
this was kind of like my.
Yeah.
By this point in the album, I was already kind of losing steam.
Yeah.
And then to end this way, kind of, I think the fact that it was the last song and I'd already kind of lost my interest in the album at this point, it made the song worse than maybe it even really is.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does pick up towards the end, though. I kind of liked it as the closer of the album.
Yeah.
You could tell it's like coming down to a close.
Mm-hmm.
But
it was just very. It was the least standout of any of the tracks for me, and I was kind of disappointed by the way it ended the album off because, well, I do like the story that you kind of mentioned, so I do give it a bit more props because I didn't really realize that at all, but I don't know. In terms of the entire album, there's just not enough to have a lot of substance to it, and it was very just kind of anticlimactic for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
But,
yeah,
it's all right.
Well,
it happens.
Well, there you have it.
No one's perfect.
No one's perfect, but
that's
that.
it.
Yeah. So, like I said, Spotify has like some bonus tracks attached. I did like the song.
Is that all Too Much Too Soon?
Too Much Too
Shoplifter,
Soon.
all
Yeah,
that? I mean,
yeah.
I didn't listen to any.
That's
of
what
I
that.
didn't either.
It's
Yeah.
I just happened to because it just flowed in.
Yeah.
I do like the song Too Much Too Soon, but give that a shot. But What's Her Name is the end of the album. So yeah,
me.
so there you have it. I mean, I thought it was a great album. I still do. I like listening to it from time to time. The production and the musicianship and the transitions and the songwriting and the compositions, that's what got me. And, you know, there are some low points. Again, I don't really... The themes and the storyline, that's not what gravitated me towards it. But I like listening to it from a musician standpoint for sure.
I thought overall, I'm looking at it from a Green Day album.
Yeah.
Because I've never listened to a full Green Day album. I'm not a Green Day fan. But I can throw this on in the background. I just couldn't get super into it. Like I found myself at certain points kind of like fading out mentally and hearing it, but not hearing it.
Right.
And that's where I kind of got lost a little bit in some of it. And, couldn't really put a name to a song. Because I was like, I don't know, it just wasn't, I wasn't fully, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Fully...
Entranced.
Yeah, I wasn't like fully sold. I wasn't in.
Yeah. It didn't put you in that
Committed,
mindset.
whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's nostalgic too, because like I said earlier, my friends and I were all into it when it came out, and
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah, my close group of high school friends and I, we all had like a CD like borrowing
Yankee Swap.
set up. Yeah, like I would lend one friend this one, the other one I'd take it. We would write it down like, hey, I need that one back. I got to rip it on my computer from my iPod. Yeah, and this was in that. And this was in
calling
that.
the police.
Yeah. But one story that always stuck out to me was my buddy Andrew, and I think my buddies Zach and Nick were there. We like crashed at Andrew's house one night, and we made a whole thing, watched movies, slept over, and just hung out. And I laid out my sleeping bag and went to bed. Next morning, I woke up, packed up everything, and I found that his copy of American Idiot in the CD case was under my sleeping bag, and I fucking cracked the case because I slept on it.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
the jewel case was cracked.
Oh.
Yeah, and that is something we talk about like to this day. Yeah, it's like a running joke that I broke his American Idiot CD case. So Andrew, my bad, but mine is still intact. So you're welcome to borrow it at any time you want and put it in your CD player in the car.
And I listen to it. I'm good.
Tracks?
But, so top tracks.
Sure.
I'll start.
Sure.
Mine's Jesus of Suburbia.
Ooh.
It's hard not to pick American Idiot. I love that song, but I just think for this album, for what they did, what they were able to show off, Jesus of Suburbia kind of summarizes that for me. Love that song. I love every part to it. Love the flows. So that actually is my top track. Yeah.
American Idiot for me. If we're going top track, I just love that song. It's fun to play. It's fun to sing. It's fun to listen to.
Can't go wrong with it. Great song.
Yeah, it's kind of it's one of the few that I like really. Even when this came out, I was like, okay, this song I like. I don't know. I'm not a big Green Day fan, but I've always liked this song. It's just fun.
Yeah.
I also went with Jesus of Suburbia.
Oh, very nice.
It was the second track, so obviously it's right in the beginning, but I've never heard it before, and I liked all of the parts, kept it very interesting and flowy. I like the story behind it. Kind of gave me a Elton John, Love Lies Bleeding, Funeral for a Friend kind of vibe, because it is a bit longer, but you do have different parts to it. And it just kept me focused on the track and didn't really stray me away from it. So
cool,
definitely a track that I enjoyed.
Nice.
Least.
How about your bottom?
Yeah, so my least was What's Her Name. It's near the end of the album, so you're already losing a bit of steam. It was just so average to the point where it was just not because the rest of the album is so good, and it has all these different parts to it and different influences, where this one was just a little slower and not very what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't very.
It was a boring song.
Yeah, it was just it didn't
going
keep
on.
my interest. So What's Her Name was my least. Joe, what's your least?
My least favorite is Extraordinary Girl.
Slash Letterbomb.
No. See, that's the problem. Just Extraordinary Girl. I still think of the album as separate tracks because I'm just used to that. I'm just not a fan of this. I didn't mind. I can see where Mike's heading with this, but I didn't mind What's Her Name. I liked how it ended the album, but Extraordinary Girl's mine. Just kind of skippable for me.
Yeah, I went with Tom. What's Her Name? By that point in the album, it just didn't work for me. Like, I was already kind of losing some steam, and then that song ended it, and I'm listening to it, and I'm going, it's just didn't have enough for me. It's kind of boring. And to wrap up an album that started off so strong, it just didn't do it for me.
I will say, I think the front half is stronger than the back half.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. How about your sleeper?
So, I can't really say it's a sleeper, but I'd say my other top track that I'd go with is Holiday. Yeah. I just love that song. I don't know what it is about it. I've always really liked that song, and so even though technically it was a single, so I don't know if you'd call it a sleeper, but that was my other kind of standout song that I went with. So.
I'd say the same because obviously it is a bit more of a single bass song. But if you want to do something that's not as super popular, I'd probably say She's a Rebel. I liked how it was pretty punky and just in your face and a bit of a foil to give me Novocaine. Nothing super flashy about it, but it was just so punchy. You know, it was just very, very energetic, and I like that. Yeah.
My sleeper is Letterbomb, which disappoints me because, again, the fucking Spotify is Slash.
Yep.
Extraordinary Girl and Letterbomb are back to back. I love Letterbomb. It was just, it's kind of a nice like hidden track kind of midway through the album. You might miss it if you're not listening to the album. You might miss it because it's attached to another song now with streaming. But definitely go check that song out, Letterbomb.
I also just want to throw out the whole Tales of Another Broken Home, which is the last section of Jesus of Suburbia, which is the Johnny Cash stolen part. Yes. I as much as it was directly fucking stolen, I thought they did a really cool job with it. And maybe it's because I already kind of heard the riff, so I kind of had like this singing the Ring of Fire in my head, but then what they did with it was also pretty cool. So I like that. I got to throw that out
definitely
there.
Great part. And I said the Rock and Roll Girlfriend part of Homecoming. Cool. Let's rate it. I'll start my album.
It's your album. Go for it.
I gave it a 4. 4 out of 5 bops.
Nice.
Big fan of it. This is one of those albums that I throw in my rotation. That I'll, if I want to hear an album, I'll, listen to this from time to time. Nostalgic for me. Very well made. I think it's Green Day's best album. Dookie's good, but I think there's a lot of duds on it. A lot of duds on the Dookie.
I would agree.
4 out of 5 for me. I think it's well made from beginning to back.
It wasn't like a middle of the road average. It was a little above that. That's where I went with a 3. I liked it. I mean,
mathematically, that is a little above average. Well done. Yeah. Good math.
You
say fuck off.
I gave it a 3. It was good, not great. I could listen to it again. I've listened to it, 3 or 4 times through before this. But I throw it on here and there.
Cool.
So I'm going to get a little bit more precise with my ratings. I'm giving this a 3.7.
3.7.
Yes, because I was stuck between a 3.5 and a 4.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'll give it a 3.7.
Okay.
So definitely one of Green Day's best works. I would agree with that. It's definitely my favorite album from them. There are some inconsistencies. I'm not going to blame them for the Slash thing because that's a streaming thing, and they came out with the physical in 2004, which didn't have that. So I get it. But there are some tracks, especially in the latter half of the album, that do slow it down a bit for me. But for the singles that they do have, even the tracks that I didn't know about, I really enjoyed. And it's a good album experience, like you said. The story that I wasn't really super aware of before this is kind of all-encompassing. And, probably about a 3.7 for me.
Cool. All right, sounds good. And then the Starman DIPA.
The New England DIPA.
from Alvarium.
I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, great beer.
Granted, it's a double IPA, so it does sit a bit heavier in you.
A little bit.
But it's really drinkable, almost crushable. I'm probably about a 3.5 on this.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I would definitely drink more of this. And especially with double IPAs, it can get a little boozy in tastes.
Not at all.
Yeah, no. This one
Very
is more on the hoppier side.
For 8%, it tasted like kind of like just a higher alcohol content single IPA.
Yeah.
Citrus New England single IPA.
Yeah.
I really liked it. Like I said, I've never been to Alvarium. I don't even know. I probably have had one or two of their beers, but not that I can, like, off the top of my head, recall. And I went to the package store and I can't come up with that name. I don't know. My buddy.
Packy something.
Packy Pat.
Pat.
and Packy Pat.
Packy Pat. I think that might be
Packy Pat.
It sounds like a nursery rhyme song. Packy Pat.
Like a Dr. Seuss book character name. Packy Pat was in the store looking for some more.
He said this was new. Like, they just got it in and, cool can. Local. I give it a try. And I'm going to give it a 3. And I'm giving it a 3 because, it was good. It, higher alcohol content, good double IPA. Does sit a little bit heavier, but it had a good flavor. Like I said, cool design, local. So, yeah, I'm 3s all around today.
Wow, I'm the highest. I'm giving it a 4.
Ooh.
I thought it was a really well-made beer. Right up there with all the other like IPAs and double IPAs I like. And mixing with the awesome can design and everything. I too can't drink a lot of these. The higher alcohol content, like you'll get fucked up pretty quick. Yeah, it'll get you.
Oh, it'll get you.
But the fact that I can't drink a lot doesn't really factor into my score. I'm not going to give it a lower score because I can't drink a lot of it. It tastes great. It's well made. All the can design, the little story on it. Love all that stuff. Giving it a 4. Yeah, well done, Alvarium.
Awesome.
Thank you. Cool.
Shout them out.
Yeah, so American Idiot by Green Day. So Green Day on Instagram, just one word. Check them out, greenday.com. I will say after American Idiot, that's pretty much done for me.
It's pretty much a no for me, dog.
They did another.
It's a no for me.
They did another concept album right after this called 21st Century Breakdown.
Some songs are okay.
Yeah, I couldn't get in. I don't know.
I like 21 Guns, but
I hate that song.
Really?
Oh, I can't stand it. And
So I've heard of that album and I've heard of that song, and off the top of my head, I can't think of it.
Yeah. So I
guess that tells you.
Yeah. But then they put out a triple album, which Tom referenced, Uno, Dos, and Tre. And
for Trey.
Cool.
Yeah, and
that's why they did that.
each album has their face on it, or each part of it. I really like Uno. Uno has a lot of great tracks on it, so give that one a shot. But American Idiot's great. And then
Alvarium. Yeah, New Britain. Hard hitting, baby.
There it is.
Hard hitting, New Britain.
Go check them out. Instagram is Alvarium Beer.
Okay. Yeah. Heard they got a cool brewery. Like you said, you've been there.
Yeah,
I haven't been, but for a double IPA, this was a solid choice.
Yes, well done, Packy Pat.
Packy Pat.
I love it. Cool. All right. So next episode, what do we got?
SDIB.
What the hell is that?
San Diego Island Boys.
Yes,
that's what it is.
That's what it stands for. They are 2 albums, SDIB 1 and SDIB 2. They're like the Hawaiian reggae, style group.
So which one are we doing?
We're doing SDIB 1.
The first one.
Yes.
Okay,
good. I was nervous for a second.
Yeah. Awesome. So and then my beer. So I really wanted to pair with the vibe,
which
of
I
the
tried.
Album. Yeah. Well, no, that's okay. So we're really trying to match like Tom's expertise of pairing. But so I ended up I found this beer at this brewery called Devil's Purse on Cape Cod. They're in South Dennis, and it's called Faraway Beach. It is a Shandy IPA.
Ooh.
I'm so excited for you guys to try it. Yeah, so we have that to look forward to. Nice summary episode next time. So, check us out on Instagram and Facebook, Hops and Bobs Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you want a specific album or a beer or any kind of drink, hit us up, DM us. Woo! And then we're streaming on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube as always. So for my good friends Mike and Tom, I'm Joe. We'll see you next time.
Peace.